Get me up. Right, are we live?
Not yet.
It says I'm live. I need to like plus my screen up. Oh. Hello everybody. Just need to figure out how to get my screen bigger. There we go. So it says we've been going for 2 minutes 22. So if you've been going for 2 minutes 22, you probably just heard all my blasphemy because I couldn't get it working. So if we have, I apologise. Not really. I don't care. Right, so what's the time? Just after 6, so we're on time. We're doing gnocchi today. Can show you how to make that. We're going to make a lemon posset. First off, everybody should have potatoes peeled and diced up. And if you've got them in, hiya Dad, right? If you've got them in little chunks, even better. Bit of salt in there, get them boiling. Everybody get your potatoes on now.
Joe's watching, so Libby's cooking.
Hiya Joe, right Libs?
Martin James says hello. Ian
Good morning Martin, or good afternoon Martin, good afternoon, evening Ian.
Simon Murray.
Alright Mr Murray.
Karina Foot, that's a new name.
Oh, apron, should have my aprons on.
Hello.
Everybody should have washed their hands. Right, so if everybody can say to the wife, send the messages over,
Just let me know if you're cooking.
say who's cooking, so we know who's there. Any questions, fire them over, same format, short words coming up in about 10 minutes. We just get this first bit going.
Annie Joe's has already mashed her potatoes.
Annie Joe's already mashed potatoes, are they, okay. I was going to suggest doing that to people, but then I thought everybody's going to be asking me questions, so if you've mashed them, fine, leave them on the side. Everybody else, get your potatoes on, get them mashing down. Get them boiling down, I should say, not mashing down. So a little bit of salt in there, pop a lid on. Get them up to the boil, and then we're going to strain the water off once it comes. We're going to mash them up. Then we need to spread them out flat, get them cooled down a bit. For the people that I've noticed a couple of people that mash potatoes. I've never done it with cold mashed potato before. I've always used slightly warm because it just makes the flour and the eggs mix in better. It should be fine, but you might just have a bit more needed. We shall find out, shall we? Right. So we'll have a couple of minutes. We just let everybody catch up. Everybody sort of get in because it's a tad early. But if you are here, get your potatoes on. So first off, we'll go for a few things. If you've noticed my t-shirt.
Say hi to Dawn.
Hello Dawn, how you doing?
She's got lemon chiller tonight and Prosecco.
I'm stuck in my apron. Right, here we go. So,
Is Paul Damon book here?
not sure. ERB Rock Magazine. If you like your rock music, especially new bands, well, new bands because it's Emerging Rock Band Magazine. That is a wicked magazine. You can go online, you can buy it. If you buy free, you get t-shirts with it, subscriptions. You also get, if I can find it, oh, should always have this page, there we go. Oh, I've got an old one. I'll pick the old one up.
Do you want to go and get your one?
Anyway, there is another one. You get a Pieman recipe in there. Just there, see? No, just there. So Pieman recipe. This month's is a chocolate Guinness cake.
Do you want to go and get it?
Now we do. So you can get an ERB magazine, you can get that. They also have an online radio station, of which yours truly has now started doing a rock and roll show.
So Geraldine's posting you on TikTok.
Okay, I don't know about that. So my rock and roll show, 8 o'clock Tuesday on ERB radio. Go online, click on ERB radio for 8 o'clock. Go down to presenters, you'll see my ugly butt there. You can click on that and then you can listen to it. If you miss it, that's live. If you miss it, it is on Listen Again. So if you miss it, don't worry. You can download it and then you can listen to it too whenever you want or for however many times you want. The more people that do it, the better it looks to me, the more times you ask me to do it. So go watch it. Right, so that's a little plug. I've got some music on the background. That's my first show playing in the background without me talking, just the records. So kind of listening to that. Right then. Have we got everybody in?
Yeah, I think so. People are boiling their potatoes, they're
Lots
saying.
of people boiling their potatoes. Right, great. So if you've got mashed, not a problem. You just need to stay out of this sort of stage for 5-10 minutes and then you can come back in. Everybody else should have potatoes on boiling. So what we're going to do now, because the potatoes are going to take about 15 minutes to boil, so we're going to crack on with the pudding. So, pudding wise, you want, now I've done the recipe as for sort of 4 to 6 people. So when I'm saying ingredients, some of you might cut it down because there might only be 2 of you. So I'm just going off with what I posted online. Right, so lemon posset pudding. I'm going with these cute little glasses. See, so now we can put the cheesecake biscuit base in the bottom and then fill them up with that. That's the way to go because that's really good. In the shop, when I sell these in the shop, we pop them in little plastic pots like that, or you can have plastic pots like that. If you've got something similar, you can do that. Or if you're doing just sort of one big one instead of individual portions, like that. So the mix I'm doing would be enough to fill that, but I'm going to do it in my glasses because it just looks better and I like eating out of a glass. So obviously I don't know what everybody's picked. You could have sort of nice wine glasses if you was doing it in that, but I try and get the fatter ones just so you can get your spoons in there and stuff, not champagne ones. Champagnes won't work. So I'm going to be saying that, and then you just got to decide which ones you're doing. Okay? Right, so first off, grab yourself a bowl. Where's my bowl? There's my bowl. And then you want your digestive biscuits. So 300 of digestive biscuits into a bowl with a bit of a side so we can bash it up a little bit. If you want a bit of an head start, just get your fingers in there and bash them up a little bit. At this point you can add a bit of sugar in if you want. It kind of all depends how sweet these are. Some of them are laden with sugar so you don't need it. Some are like pretty not sugared up as much. So I'll leave that up to your taste. You could pop a bit of ginger in now, a bit of cinnamon, you know, like just adds to your biscuit base. So entirely up to you. I'm going with no sugar because to me there's enough sugar in the lemon posset and with the jam sauce we're going to make. So that's why I'm not putting sugar in now. Right, so I've broke that down a little bit. I'm going to grab the back of a rolling pin, like so, and I'm just going to bash it down. If you've got blitzers, feel free to blitz them up. You can use anything that's sort of heavy there. You could wine bottle, you can go with that. You can do whatever you want, but you just want to make that crumbs. Right, so everybody should be crumbing up. You should have your glasses ready. And I'll show you a couple of different ways of doing this. If we have more time, I will do it slightly different to the way I'm going tonight. So the next time you make it, to make it a bit more special, that's what you're going to go and do. Those Down Crows beers. That's one of our bands that we follow. Amazing band. Go and check them out. Buy the beer. It's mental. You can get it. If anybody wants to know, ask me. I'll send you the stuff over. But it is proper, seriously good beer. It's not cheap, but if you go on the site and you mix it with a few others and that, we got 14 cans for, was it 40 quid?
Yeah.
14 cans, 40 quid delivered. And it was top notch. We had about half a dozen of their cans and we made it up with maple syrup stout and a black cherry stout. Oh, it was so
Annie
good.
says she can't hear. Annie said she can't hear you because you're bashing your biscuits.
I'll be quick.
That's Annie's truth.
I'm nearly there. Right, so I need to shut up when I'm bashing my biscuits. That sounds wrong, bashing my biscuits. Sounds like a euphemism. Got Dusty Coda playing in the background there. Their new album's out soon. Really good. Minty, you'd like Dusty Coda. Go and check their album out. Mojo Line or something it's called. Remember, everybody keep an eye on your potatoes. If you put a lid on, be careful they just don't all boil over. Right, there you go. So I've got crumbs there. As you can see, I'm not too worried about them being too fine, but that'll do. Into that, we need to take 150 of butter, pop it in a cup, melt it in the microwave. Try not to clarify it. Clarifying it is when it splits and you get all the gunky stuff come out, because it kind of makes that mix go a bit weird, makes it a bit harder because you've split the butter. So if you can melt it down in slow steps. So what do you want? 150, what's that, 125.
Minty knows they're just Cobra, loves them.
I know, yeah.
Mark says he's seen
Right.
them.
So take yourself a cup. You could take a Pieman's cup. We do sell these in the shop if anybody wants any. I'm going to pop me butter in there.
Oliver's asked if you can send him the link for the beer later for those.
Yeah, we'll do, Oliver.
It's a dog window.
Yeah, Dog Window, I think it is,
Yeah.
in Bridgend in Wales. Right, take this come to the board and take the lid off. I reckon you want about 30 seconds to a minute for your butter. Just try not to totally melt it if you can. If it does, it doesn't matter too much. It's just a personal thing I hate. When I have a cheesecake, you know when you get that base, you have to like, to get into it. That's because you've clarified the butter.
Hello.
Going back to chef terms, when you clarify butter, you use the top of it to make hollandaise sauce.
Oh, give a shout out to Archie, he's chef tonight.
Archie's chef tonight, are you Archie? Good, you're going to love these dumplings, or these gnocchi dumplings when we get doing them.
Give a shout if he needs any going over.
Yeah, holler back Archie if you need anything, if you miss out. Did your steaks come alright? The steaks you did for your mum and dad for Valentine's, they turn out alright?
How much butter, said Dawn?
The butter, 150. Right, so I've got mine kind of melting there, a little few lumps in it, if you can see that. So I'm just going to keep stirring that now, rather than trying to melt the rest down. Because if I carry on melting it, it literally, you get like a sediment. So it takes all the fat and the stuff to the bottom, and takes all the butter to the top, and that's what makes that hard, horrible, crispy chocolate base that when you're trying to eat it in a restaurant, you cut it and it flies across the table. Don't worry if there's a tiny little lump of butter in there, it'll go down. See, look, there's mine now. It's almost like, there you go. I'm not going to worry about that a little bit, I'm just going to chuck that in, but you can see it's all one nice and it's not split. Right, so then you just tip that straight into your biscuit mix. Give it a stir around. Mix it all up. Make sure it's all gone through and there's no like crummy. It should start clamping together now. So now this is where you're going to put it in whatever things that you've got. So if we're looking at big ones, just tip that in, pat it down. Obviously I'm doing the glass, so you just put it in as much as you want. I love a biscuit base, and you're going to fill about up to there on them glasses with the mousse, with the posset, so it's nice to have that. But if you had a little bit of time, what I would like to do was put biscuit base there, posset in, give it about 10 minutes to set, another biscuit base, posset on top, so you've got, so you can go all the way down. But it's a bit hard to do that today because of time schedules and stuff.
Apparently Archie made lemon posset for dessert that day.
Oh, you've made, oh, do you want to tell me how to do it then, Art? You tell me if I'm going wrong. Alright, so let's get your biscuit bases into whatever you're using. Can everybody see what I'm doing from there? Do I need to move myself closer?
No, I can see.
You can see.
Liz says she likes your glass.
Yeah, pink.
Oh, is it pink?
It's got pink roses on.
Ah.
Pink or peach.
They're really, aren't they?
Yeah, right, so I'm just going to pat that down. Do you know what? I'm going to see if I can do a double layer. And then you lot can see it, so you'll know what to do next time. Right, so when you've got them in, we need to pop them into the fridge. Just let them firm up a little bit. You need a couple of spaces in your fridge because we're going to need to cool down the I'm going to need to cool down the mashed potato in a minute. Not for long, but just to get that heat out of it. Right, let's get these in the fridge. Right, so everybody should be up with me now. I'm going to make my extras up in there.
Apparently Archie is making his own recipe tonight, no biscuit base. He's made shortbread this afternoon to go with it.
Ooh, get you, Archie, shortbread. I have to get you in the shop. Come in and do some. Oh, there you go. Get you come in, do some baking with me, Archie. Teach you how to make pies. Right. So people should have their potatoes. Worth checking them now. Mine are not quite there. They want another couple of minutes. We should have biscuit base should be done. You should have your butter in it, and if you was putting sugar, ginger, any of that sort of stuff in it, whatever you want, should be in your pots, glasses, etc. And that should be in the fridge. Right, next stage now. We're just going to make up our little sauce. I did say to everybody to get the frozen fruits because they have a little bit more juice, and I think they're a bit better this time of year. Obviously in the summer I would use fresh strawberries, but if you've got strawberries you need to just cut them up a bit, or raspberries. If anybody's got anything different, let me know. So I've got about half. It depends how much you. Again, this is, you can have extra fruit, less fruit, entirely whatever you want here. So we're going to take that. I've got about a third of a packet. Going to put that in there with the juice. If you want a little bit of alcohol in there, pop that in now. If you want to put a shot of rum in it or something.
Ali Joyce said she's done a big dish. Will it be alright to serve it up like that?
Yeah, because this will set up. It's weird. Once we make it, the only thing is you'll probably have to wait another 2 hours after we've made it to eat it. It takes 2 to 3 hours to chill down, but it actually sets like a cheesecake. It's mental. You look at it and you think this isn't going to work, but it is brilliant. Right, so going back to this, so I've got a third of a packet of mixed fruits in there. I'm going to put a little bit of water. Not a lot, about half a shot. That's it, hardly anything. I'm going to put a tiny bit of sugar in there because obviously these fruits are pretty sweet. About a tablespoon. Right, so about a tablespoon of sugar's gone in there, and now just put that on the heat. We're going to put it on the heat, bring it to the boil. There's a few pans involved today. So you should have sugar, tiny bit of water in there. Maybe if you've got fresh fruit, a little bit more water because there's less. I've had the thawed out juices in there, so you might just want another half a shot of water in there if you've got fresh strawberries or you've got fresh raspberries. Basically what we're going to do is just create a little jam. We're going to once that comes to the boil, we'll thicken it with a bit of corn flour, and it just go a little bit saucy, and we get that in the fridge cooling down, and then we can get that one out of the way. And then after we've done this, we should be straining off our potatoes, and we will be making the lemon posset next. What?
Toy's watching rugby and she's going to make the dessert tomorrow.
You like the dessert, Toya? It's a very simple one to make as well. Basically it's cream with sugar and you curdle it. It sounds good, but you curdle it with lemon juice. Just chuck it in a pot, leave it, sets down.
Geraldine said, can you run through from the fruit?
Right, so for the fruit, Geraldine, I got about a third of a packet of my mixed fruit. It depends what fruit you're using. And you want to pop it in a pan with about a tablespoon of sugar, half a shot of water, bring it to the boil. If you're using fresh fruit, probably double, about a shot of water. And then we're just literally just going to boil, bring that straight to the boil.
Luby's asking what's in the berry mix. It's froze.
Yeah, I've got in the berry mix, mine's basically, it's like the fruits.
Fruits of the forest.
Yeah, I've got strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, blackcurrants, just the fruits of the forest. A little trick, what we do is we always keep a bag in our freezer, and when we have gins, instead of putting ice cubes in, we just put a handful of frozen fruit in it. So then you get fruity taste and ice without diluting down your... It's genius. Yeah, corn flour. Here's my corn flour.
And she can put a shot in, can't she? If you want
Yep, if you want to put a shot in, Geraldine. Right, my potatoes are done, so I'm going to strain them off now. The important thing with the potatoes is we need to get all that water out. So put them in a colander, strain them off, and then just leave them in the colander. Make sure we get all that water out. We don't want no water in this. Very, very important. There. Right, there we are, got my colander in the pan. I'm just letting the water drip through that now. I'm just going to stick that to the side out of the way. Leave that for about 5 minutes. If we look now, we can see my fruit. Whoa, some of that, see? Now that's boiling. So I'm there with that. What I'm going to do now is take some corn flour. Take a cup, any cup, or a Wicked Rivers cup, another good band. And I'm going to take about a heaped tablespoon of corn flour, just pop it in the cup, and then I'm going to put about a teaspoon of water with that as well, just to mix it down slightly.
Right. So Luby's video keeps freezing, but I said shout if you've got anything you need to know.
Yeah, I think nobody else got issues. It's probably yours, Luby. So if you just message us if you get stuck.
Yeah, shout.
But I put a slightly bit too much water in there, so I'm just going to pop a bit more.
And Mark's potatoes aren't boiled yet, like I said.
Yeah, that's all right, Mark. Just keep them on. You might have had them a bit bigger than me. Right, so corn flour diluted down with a tiny amount of water, and you end up with a paste. I mean, I'm assuming everybody knows what corn flour does. I'm just going to pop a little bit in there, not a lot. I just want to thicken the sauce. And it's just gone jammy like. There we go, perfect. Right, if I get a spoon up, I can show you. Right, so there, and now I've got like, you can see all of a sudden it's just gone thickened with that. There's my liquid. If you've gone a little bit too far, you made it too gloopy, you can always just put a little bit of cold water in to bring it back.
Can you do it without corn flour, said Ian?
If you've not got corn flour, if you had long shot, if you've got arrowroot will work, just in case you did have arrowroot there. I doubt it. If you haven't got corn flour, you won't have arrowroot. If not, you're going to want to reduce it down, pop a little bit more sugar in and reduce it down even more, and reduce all the liquid until it gets to that fixed state. This is just a quicker way of doing it, so you're going to take a bit longer. Worst case scenario, if you're doing your stuff in glasses, you're just going to have a runnier sauce. It won't make no difference, the flavour's still there. But if you're going to have a cutting one, when you cut a slice off, it'll all run off. Whereas mine kind of stay on the top if I had a whole one. Right, so now we need to get that in the fridge. Right, so if I pour mine in, give you everybody an idea, you can see I've almost got like a thick jam now. And that's the topping for...
Tell Mark smash won't work.
Smash? No, smash won't work. There we go, so I'm just going to put that in the fridge. Right, so that's in the fridge and that's just going to be left till later. Right, so is everybody up with me? We should have our potatoes draining off. If they're not quite there, don't panic. You'll catch up with us in a minute. We should have our biscuit bases in the fridge in whatever vessel you're putting them in. We should have our jam sauce in there. Right, so next, I think we'll start weighing out. We're not going to make the posset yet because we've got to double over a time now. Potato's going to be ready around the same time as the posset, and the posset we've got to stand there. That's the thing with posset. You cannot move away from it. Whatever we do, everything else will be done. We've got to stand it and you've got to stir, 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 otherwise you will burn it and screw it up. So we're going to get it all ready. Right, you want another pan, enough to hold the 600 of cream. So depending on which amount of recipe you're doing.
Josie said all the wine glasses in this house are in use.
That doesn't surprise me, Josie, after last week.
Use a bowl.
Use a bowl.
Simon Murray said jam not quite thick enough yet.
Did you pop a little bit of corn flour in it? If it's not quite thick, just put a little dabble more corn flour in. It will come back.
Josie said we have plenty of spare salad bowls though. Will that work?
Salad bowl, yeah, any bowl will work really. It's just as long as you can like layer it up and then cut it up, you can do it in anything. I mean, you know, you could do it in, if you really wanted, you could do it in a bowl like that. You could just layer it up. Not an issue. Obviously, it's just prettier in a wine glass. That was all. Right. So. Have we had shot words? Nobody's asking for shot words.
No, Mark's watching the rugby.
I'm really sober here.
He's watching the rugby. It's just Jem and Archie.
Oh, so no Mark.
Yeah.
Come on, Mark. Come on.
Simon Murray.
Come on, Murray. Come on, Josie. You're the ones that are normally like. I mean, we got Chianti here down the Italian route.
If they want to fire some shot words at me, how much do you want? 3?
Yeah. As long as they're all going to take part, I don't want to do it on my own. Right, so lemon posset. Everybody up with this? I'm going to crack on and I'm going to tell everybody this part. We're not making it yet, we're just getting it all ready to go. So that as soon as we've done the potato, we can get on with it. So I want 600 mils of double cream in a heavy pan. Don't panic if you're a little bit behind, you're missing it. Just ask me, we'll go through it again.
Alright, Liz wants potato.
Liz wants potato, right, okay, cool Liz. Oh, of course, she'll be taking part in it, won't she? Because she's not cooking. She's just drinking, Liz.
So little Helen said tomatoes, gnocchi or posset. So we'll have tomatoes, I think.
Right.
Potato, tomato, one more.
Right, so we now have 600 mils of cream in a heavy pan. You now need to take 200 caster sugar into that pan.
Apparently Josie's not even in the kitchen.
There you go, 200 mils into the pan. Obviously you should have weighed that out because I'm reasonably good at guessing ingredients. I like to guess ingredients. Right, just pop that to the side out of the way. Do I need to so you can see me cooking? I'll bend down. Do I need to bend down? No, I can just
Okay, do you want to know the short words that they picked out, Gary?
Yeah.
We've got potato, tomato and lemon.
Potato, tomato and lemon. Right, okay. Right, so cream, 600 mils in a heavy pan. 200 caster sugar in the heavy pan. Stick it to the side. Next thing, we want 3 of them. And you want to take the zest off them.
What colour are they?
They're yellow. So I'm learning now. So we want to take the zest off of 3 of these into a little bowl. And then you want to cut them in half. And we stick the fork in and twist them and get all the juice out. You should have all seen me doing that before. If not, watch me and I'll show you. Right, where did that bowl go? Oh, yeah, there we go. Just going to pop my juice in there.
Mark said, well, we've got to take the zest off.
The yellow things, Mark.
Good try. That's not James.
Remember though, only want yellow. You don't want to get any of that white stuff. Any pith.
Or else it'll be cooked off.
It's easier to take off whole as well rather than cutting them. Cut them after you've zested them. I haven't got a shot though. If you pop me one of my fancy shots up, I'll say it on purpose because you wouldn't mind a run. Right, so is everybody cool? Everybody up to date with what we're doing? Probably should do it here and you can all see what I'm doing. No?
Right, we'll zip this though.
Yeah, this is my expensive rum, so I'm going to
Oh, you've
zip.
got your glass. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to zip my shots because I don't want to just waste it.
It's on there.
Wanna rock and roll. Right, so I'm down to my third lemon.
Shot.
The zest is all going all over the place here. Right, scrape, make sure you get the back of that off of there.
Mark said are we making banana posset?
You could do. Right, so I've got. Cheers, everybody.
James Davis said, what rum have you got? Can you show him?
It's a James Bond rum, very expensive one out for Christmas. And there's not much left. This is very, very good. Right, so cut these bad boys in half. Then you get a fork, you just stick it in there and then just give it a turn. Right, people who haven't got their potatoes off, they should be sort of coming off now. Oh yeah, forgot that part. I forgot that part because I'm doing my lemons.
Shot.
I've got quite big ones here.
Ooh.
So I'm just going to, because they're a lot bigger than normal, so I'm just going to put 2 lemons in. Oh man, that's a few shots, isn't it? I will do the shots in a second, don't panic people. So if you've got big ones, perhaps just do the zest of 3 and then the juice of 2. I'll show you roughly how much I got. There we go, so that's what I've ended up with. So there's a reasonable amount there, and if I put the third one in, I think it'd be a bit too much. Right, so I'm just going to stick that aside. So yeah, they were very, very big lemons. Big as my hand. That's probably a few. So smooth. Right, so I'm all ready, and you should all be ready now to do your posset in about sort of 5 minutes. So we should have 600 of cream in there, 200 of sugar, 3 zests of the yellow things, 2 juices of the yellow things, and then that's ready to go. But we're not going to do that yet because we have to get on with our potatoes now. Right, so make sure you've got no water in. Okay, make sure you've got no water in the bottom of your pan. Stick your potatoes in there.
So I'm just counting up for everyone.
Yeah. I hope everybody else is keeping up with me. Grab your masher. Right, so we want to mash down these spuds now. Hopefully you've drained the water off and you'll notice it's a very dry mix, is what we want. We don't want that horrible watery type potato.
Annie Joyce said, do I put lemon with the cream now?
No, keep it all aside. I've got, like, if you look, I've got lemon, I've got sugar and cream in there, and I've got lemon there. We have to wait. Do not put it together yet.
And that was 2 shots.
Well, Annie can take them because she made me do that. Right. So I'm mixing this potato down. Get it as fine as you can. The Italians, they have them like show you. Some people might have them. So there's a garlic press, but they have a square one. So you put your spuds in there and you do that and it comes out. It's like a potato ricer and you get very, very fine potatoes like that.
Libby would like one of those, Joe.
Yes, Libby would like one of them, Joe.
And he's going to take one for the team.
Nice one, Annie. Right, so also by mashing this now, we're actually getting the heat out of it a bit, which is good, because in a minute you've got to stick your hands in it.
Mark said, how many lemons do we need?
It's 3 lemons. It's 3 yellow things with zest and juice, but my yellow things were huge, so I only put 2 of them in. And I got, if you're getting a lot, some of them are juice, I got quite a bit of juice in there.
75 mils?
Yeah, it's about 75 mils is the correct thing. But it's very hard to get that right when you're doing a lemon, because some lemons, but 3, it's around the 3 mark.
Sorry, 2 shots there. What's in the mash?
Just mash at the moment, just mash. So everybody that cooked their mash, you should have that in a bowl ready, because the next stage is coming up. We're catching up with you now. How many people cooked their mash? I know James did.
Oh, so did Ruby Lou?
Ruby Lou.
Ruby Lou.
Right, so get that nice and mixed up.
Oh my god. Mark James said, I'd see the doctor about your huge yellow things.
Yeah, I've been.
Mark said 2 lots of 3 lemons, that's 6 shots. Oh, Alison garnished these mashed potatoes already.
Right, okay,
And so
Alison,
did
if you
Annie.
get your potatoes out.
Oh, and James did. Oh,
Yeah.
and so did Geraldine.
A few people did, right. So
Good
that's
students.
cooled down, right. So I've got my spuds mashed up there.
Okay, so you've got a few that do.
Right, but now you've got to weigh this. The problem with it is I don't know, because sometimes by whoever peels it, etc., it can come out different.
Do you want me to clear up the lemons?
Oh, if you would, that'd be magic. Right, so we want 600 of mashed potato. Right, so grab yourself a little mixing bowl, weigh yourself out 600 grams of this potato.
Potato, that's a
Oh.
shot.
Make sure it's gone. Should have freaking. I wish you were down.
Mark picks up on that potato equals shot.
Can't get my scales to tear off. Come on, tear. Alright, okay. Right, so 600 of spuds into your mixing bowl. 150, so see, I want 750. Now we might have a little bit too much mash here for the gnocchi. If you've got any left, not a problem, you can make it up again tomorrow, or you can use it up.
Potato
Actually,
cakes.
I'm not, potato cakes, I actually haven't got too much left in the end.
Shepherd's pie.
Alright, I'm just going to pop that in. There's a little bit left. Right, so I've got 600 of spuds in there. Now this is the fun part. This is where you mix it up with your hands. So potatoes, 600. 200 grams of plain flour, 2 eggs into there. Obviously you've got to crack the eggs first. Don't just put the eggs in because it don't work. As you'll see, it's quite a big mix. But once you start going there, I mean, this is for sort of 4, 5, 6 people here. So crack 2 eggs in. That's in there. And I'm just going to delve my hands in now. If I bring this down here before I start, then people can see kind of what I'm doing. Got a bit of leeway.
Yeah, just going through it.
Right. So, obviously I've got clean hands. And literally we're just going to mix this in. You could put a bit of seasoning in there if you want, but if you season potatoes, there's probably enough salt in there.
Geraldine said, with potato, what have you got with your potato? Just go through.
Right, with the potatoes, you want 600 in a bowl, Geraldine, so we've got a bit of space to mix it with. You want 200 of flour and 2 eggs. Just crack it all in there and mix it up. This is why I like it a bit warmer, because I find it mixes in easy with the flour. So these people that have already cooked their potato, you might find it takes a little bit more to mix up, but then the added bonus of that, yours is going to cool down quicker than ours, so yours will roll out easier in the next stage. In an ideal world, you would make this mix up, stick it in the fridge for about an hour and a half before you want to use it, or on the side. Right, you'll notice it's starting to come together now. So you want to get all that flour mixed in, and you should have the bowl on the side nice and clean. Mine's starting to come together now.
Mark Warmington said, bloody hell, the rugby must be bad. I'll switch to the Leeds game instead.
Don't tell me the score, Mark. Don't want to know. I know they look 1-0 down after 2 minutes. That's as far as I know.
Liz Townsend said, Gary, you owe about 10 shots.
10 shots, do I? Right, okay. When my hands are clean. Right, as you can see now, it's starting to come together. Look, I've got a ball, right? That's what you should be looking at, a ball. But I got messy hands. So this point, we need to get that excess potato off.
Oh,
yeah.
It's 11.
Okay, I can't do 11 shots, everybody.
For you.
Right, so now go and wash your hands, because we need clean hands for this part. Still washing my hands. Yeah, that's slightly hard to get off. Right, so I've got nice clean hands now. Hopefully you've all got this mix that's going to pick up in one go. Right, and grab yourself a little bit of dusting flour. Anything could do, plain or self-raising. Make sure your surface is dry if you've just wiped it down, because you don't want wet.
Mary said hers is very sticky.
Keep kneading it, Mary, keep kneading it.
Mark said the Scottish striker potato McLemon is just scored.
Right, so you should have had your 600 mash. We should have 2 eggs in there. You should have 200 flour. We should end up with a kind of, it's basically a potato cake type thing. So I've got one lump. You'll never clean that bowl, so don't worry about that. It's not like pastry, you can get it out. But pop that down on there. Get yourself a bit of dusting flour. Sprinkle a bit on there. Pop some on your hands so that it doesn't stick to your hands again. And then just give this a little knead out. You just sort of want to bring it all together. Right, you'll feel it all starting to come smooth. A little bit more flour on there. Try not to use too much if you can help it, because you don't want to distort the mixes. All of a sudden now you've got to a nice bit of pastry that's able to pick up. But if you feel it, it's still warm. So we need to get this in the fridge cooling down. I.e., if you was doing this for your normal meal, I would make this up an hour or 2 before you're going to cook it, but we're struggling a little bit with time. So to make it go a bit quicker, I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to make them a little bit thinner so they cool down a bit better, like that, like sort of big fat pizzas. I'm going to pop it on a tray with a bit of cling, pop it on a plate with a bit of cling film and in the fridge. Okay, so that's what we should all be at. You should have this nice sort of dry mix. If you're still struggling, Mary, shout over.
It's Mary Foster.
Mary Foster. There you go. So I've got potato cakes there. Now I'm going to go now, or my gnocchi, potato cakes, gnocchi, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to cover that with cling film and in the fridge.
Got a few shots there.
Right, there you go. So that's the stage we should all be at now. We should all have our potato cake, gnocchi mix, whatever you want to call it, flattened out, covered it. Don't cover it tight with cling film because you don't want it sweating. You didn't cover it tight, did you?
I'll untighten it.
Just lay it over so we don't get a crust on it. That's what we're doing. But you need the heat to come out. If you like make it really tight, you'll just keep the heat in there, and you basically just created another oven. So that's the one thing we don't want to do. I'm just laying it across the top. Right. So hopefully we're all up to that stage. I'm going to wait 2 minutes before we start the lemon posset because I need everybody to get that part done. Right. I'm behind on a few shots, so. Cheers everybody, hopefully you're kneading away with your gnocchi mix. Have a little tidy down. There's not enough space to put everything in our kitchen's way small. It tastes like licorice, my rum. It's got a real licorice taste to it. Right, do you want to sit on there in case people are messaging now because they could be struggling with the gnocchi part? It's gone quiet, my music's gone off. Put some more music on. Always got to cook with music.
Mary Foster says it's in the fridge, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, as long as you've got back to that that sort of state where you could see mine where I could pick it up. It's almost like a pastry. That's the kind of texture you're looking at. It doesn't have to be as smooth as pastry, but you need to get it flat like that and in the fridge just so it cools down. Hopefully everybody's there. If everybody gives me a thumbs up, we're ready to go on with a posset, we will. But if we're still stuck with the your gnocchi, let me know. See, with this gnocchi, what we do in a minute, in about half an hour's time, or an hour's time, whenever we get round to it, you take a strand off, you roll it out like that, and then you cut little bits off, and then we can do different shapes, whatever shapes you want to do with them. It's so easy, so simple.
Paul Damon, how do you put potatoes in the fridge?
Just on a plate. You're on about the gnocchi mix, Paul. If you're on about the gnocchi mix, you should have had that, and or you're on about leftover potato. I don't know, I'll go with the gnocchi mix because that makes sense. So the gnocchi mix, you just flatten it out to about like that, on a plate, loosely cover with cling film, get it in the fridge, just cooling down. Yeah, basically you need to cool it down, otherwise if it goes a bit firmer, it's easier to roll out, otherwise we struggle to roll it out.
Okay, Mark's is in the fridge, Helen, thumbs up, Annie Joyce is in the fridge, Martin Hunt, his is in the fridge.
Okay, right, sounds like everybody's up to date.
And
right.
a couple of thumbs, but I don't know who they were from.
Okay, so seems like everybody's good. If you're not, holler away. Posset mix now. Right, do not move from your stove. Very, 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 very super important. We're going to pop your cream and your sugar mix on. So turn the heat up.
Oh.
Do
So
that.
Luby Lou, she used olive oil rather than an egg. And now she's having a cider.
Okay.
Geraldine's good. Ian, he's good.
Right, so sounds like everybody's good. Right, so 200 sugar,
He's good.
600 cream in a pan, get it boiling. You don't want it too high, but then we don't want it too low either. We need to bring it to the boil, but we need to bring it to the boil gradually. And you need to keep stirring, because if you feel it now, you can feel that sugar in there. If we don't stir it, it will just burn. So just keep stirring, continually.
And he said heat
Keep
high
stirring.
or
Sorry?
what heat?
Oh, I've got it on like a medium heat, is it Annie?
Annie.
Annie, on a medium heat.
But keep stirring.
You must keep stirring. Do not walk away from this.
Yeah.
You can
Okay,
walk
that's
away and
right.
it'll like just go straight over the top.
The sun
You
it
can
goes as
you
well.
can burn the bottom, so you'll end up with all black bits in it. Obviously, you don't want black bits for a white pudding, and it'll taste burnt as well. So the long and short of this is, we bring this to the boil. As it comes to the boil, we add in our lemon juice and lemon zest, That's a shot.
Can you just go through what's in the pan again? Just because I know some people are putting their potato in the fridge.
Okay, so in the pan you should have 600 of double cream, 200 of caster sugar. Pop it on a medium heat and literally keep stirring. Stir, stir, stir. Do not stop stirring. See, all of a sudden now you can feel my sugar's gone.
Geraldine said I've already added lemon juice and zest. Is that okay?
No, that's not Geraldine. No, I don't know whether yours is going to work now. I'm not 100% sure.
Keep boiling this?
The only thing you can do is just keep stirring it and cross your fingers. I've never done it that way.
Yeah.
Basically, nobody had the lemon juice. The lemon juice is the last thing we add once the milk comes to the boil. So if you've got it, Geraldine, just keep stirring it. But you might find you're going to curdle. Basically, the lemon juice curdles it. Because it's a curdled pudding mix. I actually thought it was French. But
has she got any more cream just to start again?
if you've got all the ingredients again, Geraldine, start again. Because I've never done it that way. I assume that your cream's going to split now once you put it in, because you're having a reaction of the acid in the cream. So you're going to end up with like a scrambled egg. But when you get the cream hot and you keep stirring it, the reaction's different. It thickens up like a custard, but you don't get the split. I think yours is going to split.
Look, keep us updated.
I mean, if you've got the ingredients again, do it again. So nobody else had lemon juice. I haven't said add lemon juice yet. It's literally just 600 milk, cream, 200 sugar. And this will take about 5 minutes. So make sure you're stirring and stir right round the pan. Don't just stir the middle, stir right round the rim. And then into the middle, almost like, do you remember back at school we used to have to do the figure of 8? The only thing is when I do the figure 8, I spill it everywhere because I'm a clumsy
Mark
bugger.
said, will the cream not curdle with the lemon? Yeah. Well, we don't know.
The cream, that's the whole idea of it. Mark, which Mark?
Mark Warmington.
Warmington. Yeah, I'm not sure, Mark, but obviously this is what we're aiming for, but at the end, not at the start.
Has Archie put his in? Mind you's made it before, hasn't he?
Yeah. Perhaps do you know what, Geraldine? It might work.
Yeah, just
I've never ever done it that way. I mean, I do know when you put, because we did Yorkshire. Do you remember that Yorkshire curd? And that was with the cream and the thing, and we put the cream in with the lemon, and it actually split. So you took the curd out, because that's basically what you're making curds. Not turds, curds. Right, I can see the heat starting to come up from mine now. I can see it's getting there. So I'm still going to keep stirring. I might just turn the heat up a fraction now.
Does it need to bubble or just hot? Ours is yellowish. Is that okay?
Yeah, yellow. Don't worry about the colour. But once it gets to the boil, everybody's going to come at different times. Because obviously you've got faster heats, different pans.
Mark Warmington just wants you to say lemon.
He just wants me to say lemons. Not a problem.
Paul Damon said we haven't put our lemon in. No,
Don't put your lemon in yet. I will tell everybody when the lemon's got to go in. Nobody put lemon in. Literally just boil the sugar and milk. As I can say, mine's starting to come to the boil now.
Jess says I can smell lemon from upstairs.
That's because there's loads of lemons.
Sure.
Ah.
No.
Might have to start shotting red wine in a minute. Right, so I'm still, as you can see, I'm still stirring. I'm just going to stop a second and see if I get some ripples of bubbles. No, not quite there yet. So, but when you get that, the
it just suddenly happens, doesn't
the
it?
little bubble coming up,
with little Helen.
turn the heat. If you're at that point, either take it off for a minute or turn the heat down low. And that's when you add your lemon juice, when we get them bubbles. So you need to make sure it's boiling. And then once it comes to the boil, we add our lemon juice and then we stick it on to boil for 1 more minute.
Mark Warmington said, can you stop saying lemon?
Right, so I'm shotting wine now.
Say hello to your mum because your mum's watching.
Hello, Mum. Bit of Rocket Dolls on now. This is the actual song we sang on. Right, I can see mine is starting to get there now. But apart from this faffing around at this point, this is like one of the most amazing desserts. You're looking at this and you're thinking there's no thickening agents. How is this going to set up and eat like a pudding? You just feel like it's going to go everywhere. Right, so if I bring you guys over a second, you can start to see, I can see that haze coming off. And it's nearly there. You can just see the odd bubble poking to the top. I'm just going to let that come to the boil, so it just starts to shoot up a little bit. You've got to be careful at this point because you can overflow it. If it does like start to shoot up too quick, just take it off the heat pretty sharpish. As you'll know with milk, it does like have a tendency to fire straight up. Right, now I've got a froth. Now you can see the bubbles coming. See them bubbles? Yep. Everybody see that bubble? Right, there we go. That's lemon juice time. Right, so stir that lemon juice and zest in. Turn your heat down. This is where Libby, because she makes this normally, and Jack are telling me, no, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, can I just show you this? I'm in Hargate.
No, because it's right at a pinnacle point. Show me in a second. Right, there we go. So, now you can see I put my lemon juice in there. All of a sudden, that has just thickened up. Now I want to just keep that sort of ticking over, not just slightly boiling, keep stirring it, must keep stirring it at this point. I might just turn that up a little bit. And you'll notice it start to thicken up. Right, if it starts to shoot up too quick, just lift your pan up like that. Just takes the heat away instantly.
So Mary O'Toole's doing half, so would hers probably be ready sooner, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if you're doing half mixes, it will be. Basically, once that cream and the sugar comes to the boil, get that lemon juice in there. And then we want to bring it back to the boil now. Not quite there. But this is very, very important. Keep stirring it now because this is you'll feel it starting to thicken up. This is at the point where it can catch on the bottom of your pan. Right, so I've got that turned up. I haven't got it back to the boil yet. So once it comes back to the boil, I'm going to give it a minute. But I'm not at the boil.
Show you a picture on it?
No, because it's not a good point to do it though.
Juice or zest?
Juice and zest.
Yeah, juice and zest, Mark.
Oh, this is taking longer than normal. Perhaps I should have put the third bit of lemon juice in now. Remember, keep stirring it and keep your eyes on it. Right, so if yours is thickened up, mine hasn't quite thickened up enough yet. If you're doing lesser mixes and it's gone like a thick, it's sort of custard consistency, that's when you can pour it into your moulds, your bowls, your biscuits, your glasses, whatever you're using. Do you know what? I don't think I had enough lemon and I think I need the other lemon.
You had loads of them, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, should you sorry for smell it?
No, I don't think you can hear it. It's only me that can hear the music. But as you can see, mine's boiling away there. And he's nearly there.
That's probably good yours is taking time.
Yeah. I think I did have
everyone
a...
else time to catch up, and I don't know how everyone's going. No one's sort of sat. Ali said hers isn't boiling. I said just keep going with it.
Yeah, because all of a sudden it'll start boiling and then it'll get there. I'm just going with a little bit more lemon in there, I think.
Josie said, guess I'll have toast for Tilly then.
Oh, harsh, Josie. I reckon your mum will do a good one once we get that gnocchi out.
Paul Dane said, who's playing music?
Me. Can Paul Damon hear it?
I don't know. Does he not like your music?
No. If you don't like my music, Paul, you don't want to check out my radio show on Tuesday, 8 PM, ERB Radio. Plug, plug, plug.
Oh, and yeah, you might like this one. Alright.
Right, so you should be looking at a thick custard, like a slightly, you should have thickened up your creamy mix. Right, you can see there, I've got like a creamy sort of mix. Now I'm going to pour that into my glasses. Now just go careful with the glasses. I might just give that 2 minutes to just take some heat out because you want to crack glasses. But if you've got like your moulds, or if you've got your moulds, your doobie tins, or your plastic pots, or your basins, or what was Josie using, a salad bowl, whatever it is, you can pop that on top now. We need to get that in the fridge cooling down.
Annie Joyce said hers isn't thick at all.
Not thick at all. Right, so you add...
I don't think she's put a lemon in yet.
Have you put your lemon in yet?
And what stage is she up to?
Yeah, because you need to get your lemon in and it'll start to go to a custard consistency.
Hold on a minute. Yes, she said. Oh, so you have to put your lemon in?
So
oh, lemon is in, yeah.
Lemon is in. Did you bring it back to the boil? See, then I've popped my mix in there. We should be having like a custard mix.
Oh. Nice, that's right. Ali said yes, boiling 3 minutes now.
So it's not gone. How many lemons did you put in? And I've got my in there.
She put 3 lemons in.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I'm slow, aren't I?
it should have thickened up by
and
now.
Extra juice.
It does. It's weird. It's supposed to be kind of runny. It's not.
Show me the consistency.
I mean, I've got like a custard. Look, you can see it. It's still running in the thing. So I'm getting that in the fridge. So you're looking at a runny custard. And once it goes cold, it like sets back down. You know, we're not looking at a set mix. Don't think you're looking at a... You do look at it and you think, this ain't never going to set. I mean, in an ideal world, I would leave this for about 15 minutes before I put it in these glasses, but I'm trying to show everybody I'm doing it all in one. So, as again, look, you can see it moving? So it is a liquidy kind of custard mix.
Ian Corbin said, didn't realise our plastic pots would melt.
Plastic pots, it shouldn't melt from that. Right, so we're going to hold fire for 2 seconds. Now we can let everybody all get up to stage. What's the time?
Done an hour, I think. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, right? Okay, that's cool. So we're just going to hold fire, let everybody get up to this point, because then after this it's
Geraldine, all good, needs to cool down before adding to the glasses.
brilliant. So that way works. Okay, didn't know that.
Okay.
That's cool. Hang on, I've got to look at this picture.
Simon Hargate's got your top on.
Ha! There you go, that. See, that guy's doing it in style. He's got the Man Live t-shirt on, doing it as he goes.
Simon Hargate.
Well done, Simon. Right, so that's the point we're at. Any problems, fire them over. Amy, as long as it's gone a bit custardy-like, what are you putting it in? If you're a little bit worried, pop it into glasses, because what'll happen is it might not set up as well as anything else, but if you're eating it in a glass, it's going to become like a yogurt. So, you know, it's not gonna, but if you were putting it in the big things, you know, like that, it might just sort of slip out. So Geraldine's work, which is good. Anybody else got issues? I mean, to be fair, look, all of it, even now it's cooling down. Now I've even it's gone to like splodgy custard already as it's cooling down. You can see it's thickening up. Again, in an ideal world, if this wasn't tonight and I was trying to show you all, I would tell you to leave that for about 10 minutes and it will naturally start to thicken up before we pop it in there. So if you want to do that, feel free to leave it for sort of 10 minutes. But obviously I have to show you everything, so I'm kind of speeding it on, if that makes sense. We could be here for like 4 hours if we was doing this properly.
Paul Damon said, put it on my Asda balloon and it will go up the wall again.
Yeah, don't put it on your Asda balloon. No Asda balloons.
How much in the glass, said Geraldine?
As much as you want, Geraldine. It is quite, it's weird. It's creamy, but it's not creamy, is it? Because the lemon cuts through it. So I usually go with 75% posset, 25% biscuit, and then we're going to top it.
Mary O'Toole said, thickening as it cools,
Yeah.
scraping tastes lush.
Yeah, that's it. So it will, if you look at it and you're like, oh my God, this isn't going to work, but it does. It kind of goes into, I suppose the easiest way to describe it is it's a bit like Greek yogurt. You know that consistency of a Greek yogurt? That's a great way to sort of say what it's like.
Annie's going to leave hers to the side, and then as it isn't behaving, so she's
Yeah,
gonna
leave it to the side. You'll know, keep giving it a stir, and then you'll notice it start to thicken up. We'll let everybody catch up. I'm assuming if anybody wants me to wait on 2 minutes before we crack on with the next stage, feel free. If you want to do a little bit of clearing down, go ahead now, clear some space. You will need a nice clear space there for rolling out the gnocchi. So bear that in mind.
James Davis said, don't talk about balloons and cooking. Sarah Davis is still traumatised.
That was like the best picture ever, that was, James. For your missus, and she was just like, covered in that chocolate. I honestly didn't know that was going to happen. That just happened. Because I made the mistake. When I did it, when I did my trial run, it did blow up. But that's because I got to the bottom, I didn't have enough chocolate, so I pressed it into the glass. I went like that to get that last bit of chocolate, and that's where it exploded. I actually saw a guy the other day doing one. He made the most amazing chocolate axe cake. It was stunning.
Oh,
He had a whole balloon covered in
It's a
chocolate.
Viking ship.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Viking shield thing. It was brilliant. He had a whole balloon covered in chocolate. He made it look like a piece of cake. He just put it down, left it there, give it a little pop. It came out brilliant. I mean, we only did half balloons. He did a whole one. But I'll show you again for all these people waiting. I'll show you my custard now. As we're talking, it's literally that. So as you're talking, it's literally just turning into, it's just thickening up as we're going. So don't panic that it looks a bit too runny at the moment. Amy, you'll notice it start to go. So when it like thickens down a bit, pop it into your things. But if you've got like single portions, you can put it in now. It'll be all right.
Apparently Archie's laughing at you.
Archie's laughing. Why, is he better at it than me?
No, because every time you say posset, apparently in Dorset it's posset.
Yeah, well, I'm Somerset. I'm Somerset, Archie. You're Dorset. You're posh. You live in posh Sherborne.
Martin James Hunt said, I'll be drunk before I eat.
I know. That's the problem with these shows, Martin. If you've never done one before, this is what it's like.
Mary O'Toole said, I've got Gary on 2 screens. The echo is weird.
Lemons. Right, so I'm assuming everybody's good.
Liz Townsend said she's going now. Her tea's ready.
Bye-bye, Liz Townsend.
Enjoy your tea.
Right, next stage. We're going to crack on with making our sauce. So, for the gnocchi, a lot of people have sauces that are vast. Does that make sense? Like very saucy. And don't get me wrong, I like a nice sauce. I can't eat anything without gravy on, really. If I have roast dinner, I want it flooding in gravy. But when I do gnocchi or when I do pasta, I like minimum sauce, maximum flavour. So I'm going to show you the way I do my my sort of sauces for this, which is like really punchy, strong flavours, and we just literally use it to coat the gnocchi in. So you're not going to have that massive sauce, but I tell you, it is mental. Who's messaging me? Oh no, this is lovely rubbish. Right, so everybody, get yourselves a frying pan. What we're going to do is we're going to go with the sauce. We're going to make it up. We're going to cool it down, stick it to the side, and then we're going to make our gnocchi. And then when the gnocchi's done, we're going to pop the sauce in and warm it all back up, and then you get this mental flavour. So, frying pans. I have my like little wok. Obviously, the more people that you're cooking for, because I'm actually not going to cook all my gnocchi. I'm only going to cook half because there's only the 3 of us. But I kept it for you, everybody else. Right, so you want a lowish heat and some oil in there, please. Oh, so please. And you should all have your stuff chopped up. Hopefully you've done all that, did all your homework. So I want about, again, this is like personal preference. I love garlic, so I'm going with about 3 cloves of garlic. You can just have 1 clove, you can have 2, I'm going with 3. So pop that in the oil. So garlic in there. We want the oil low. We don't want to burn this garlic. We want to saute it, or we want to cook it basically without browning it. Because if you burn the garlic, it's like, yeah, it tastes better. So you want a low heat, and then I've popped an onion in there as well. So you should have 1 finely chopped onion. And if you were clever enough, you did extra garlic for the garlic bread in a minute. Nah, because it only tastes so much. Right, I need to check the recipes here. I know what I'm doing, honest, but obviously I give you lots of ingredients and I need to make sure I remember to put it in, because a lot of the times I just cook off the hoof. I don't have recipes. I literally just, I go, yeah, bit of that, bit of that, bit of this. Right, so if anybody was having a little bit of chilli in this, if you wanted your chilli, now's the time to add it. I'm not doing chilli because I'm keeping it authentic Italian. Or Spanish because we've got chorizo in ours. But yeah, so we're keeping it not spicy. But if you wanted to pop a chilli in, just put half a chilli in now. You could pop some chipotle paste. I got that. There's all sorts of things you can put in. In a second, I'll show you my range of chilies I've got. Really, really good. I advise everybody to go and get some. Right, so I'm sweating my onions off. That's the word, sweating, not sauteing. I knew it was something different. I've got them on a low heat. Keep stirring them, you don't want them to burn.
Mary doesn't use recipes at all.
Nah, I don't. I guess I'm just sweating that off. Yes, Mary, I never use recipes, so when I come to doing this, I have to make it in the week and then work out how much I put in. I literally, this recipe here, it's not a recipe, it's just a gathering of ingredients. You can put in whatever you want. Did we have any veggies? Nobody said they were doing veggies today.
Lou's doing it.
Oh, Lou,
I think
so-
she's done it.
So what was you doing, Lou? I mean, I suggested for the veggies you could pop some baby corn in now. You could put some sugar snap peas in. What else did I say on there? Some asparagus, fresh asparagus, be nice.
Simon said his chilli's gone in.
Yeah, okay, good. You got chilli in.
Simon Murray said onions in.
Yeah. So onions, garlic. This is what's on the recipe. And into this you can add whatever else you want in. Right. So we've got chorizo. I don't know what everybody else had. If you've got sliced chorizo, add that at the end. If you brought chorizo like I do, like a sausage, we dice it up. You can put that in now because the diced you can cook. If you've got it thinly sliced, you need to put that in last. And if you've got bacon, pop your bacon in now. If you've got salami, the same with salami. If you brought a whole one and you're dicing it up, pop it in now. If you've got sliced salami, save it till the latter stage. Right, so I got chorizo in there. I think that was about 8 ounces. Again, personal preference. You can put more in, put less in. Entirely up to you.
We're doing chorizo when we get it in, so I'm so behind you.
Who's doing chorizo?
Mark.
So,
Warmington.
Warmington, Mark. So the chorizo, mind you probably just heard it because she's behind. So if you got slices, just cut them in quarters and leave them on the side. We can add them in when we put the gnocchi in. You'll still get a bit of flavour from them.
Do you need to chop the tomatoes?
We will chop the tomatoes. You can just roughly chuck them in, but they're not going in just yet. But I love the chorizo like this. You're biting this sausage like that. It is the way to buy chorizo. It's so different than the sliced stuff you get in the
Mark just
supermarket.
said forget that last post, you've just told us the answer. I'm so behind you. Lou said got the veg you recommended.
Okay, nice one, Lou. So you could be popping your veg in now then, Lou. So when I pop my chorizo in, just pop your asparagus in and your baby corn. Maybe if you want, cut your baby corn in half. Like, not in half that way, in half... How can I show her? So not in half that way, in half that way. Like that. So you got like the long thin strip. Because then you cut it in half like that, you're making no difference to the cooking. Right, make sure this doesn't burn. If you need to pop a little bit more oil in, like I do, you can do. Olive oil's good, or I got rapeseed oil.
What does Minty need to put in now?
I don't know, what does Minty need to put in now?
Banana.
Oh, bananas. This is where you put your bananas in now, Minty. Right, so in there I have garlic, I've got my white onions, and I put my chorizo in. Now I'm going to chuck in my cherry tomatoes. So rather than having them whole, I like to just cut them into halves or thirds. Roughly, doesn't matter. You can put them in whole if you want, but honestly, I hate eating that tomato. When you put it in your mouth, it goes like that. I'm not a fan of that. So I'm just going to hack mine up into little bits, and then just sweat them off in there. Nothing fancy, just cut them up any old how you want. Again, if you're not a fan of tomatoes, you can put less in. Make it up with other veg. I know James Davis is doing not fresh tomatoes, he's doing tin tomatoes. So this is where you add your tin tomatoes in. So James, add your tin tomatoes, but try and hold back on a bit of juice. You can always add a bit more juice later. And if you've got a tin of tomatoes, it's a normal sort of 400 gram size, I would have thought, isn't it? So you probably want to put about half a tin in to start with. You can always add more, you can't take it out. That's the beauty about cooking. Always add less, because you can always add more, but if you overdo it, you can't take it out. Right, so now, I got tomatoes sweating in there with me chorizo, my onions and my garlic. I love black pepper, so I'm going to put a good heap of black pepper in there.
When does the tomato paste go in?
Tomato paste is not quite yet. Just want to cook all this down a bit. What we want to do now is break them tomatoes down. And this is a good time, if you want to add a little bit of wine, is to chuck a little bit of wine in. About a shot. It'll just help break that down, break the tomatoes down. It adds a nice flavour. If not, add about a shot of water in there. Not a lot, just a dash.
Mark W.
As you can see, I like my pepper.
Mark W said, can I peel the potatoes with the lemon zester, then mash them with the potato masher?
Good one, Mark.
James Davis, I strained the tin, I got about a third of the juice.
Yeah, so put the tomatoes in, keep the juice back, you can add a little bit to it. So where I'm putting wine in, and others might be putting water in, you can pop a little bit of that juice in if you want.
Okay, Paul Damon said, sorry, we're sorting his posset out.
Yeah.
What's in the pan now?
Right, so Paul Damon, this is just for you, so you can follow this one. You want some oil in there, you want to put your onions in, you want to put your garlic in, you want to sweat them off for about a minute, 2 minutes. Not on a high heat, we don't want to burn them, you want to keep them translucent, which means you want to keep them opaque, white looking, you don't want to burn them. Into that, we then pop in our chopped meat, so sausage meat, chorizo, not sausage meat, come back to making sausage rolls now, aren't I? Your chorizo sausage, your salami, your bacon, whatever you're using, pop that in now. Then I diced in, or cut in half my cherry tomatoes, and I'm just sweating them off. And then into that, I'm going to put like about a shot of wine. There you go, just a little glug in there, just to help break it down. Now I'm going to turn the heat up on that now. Now I've got some liquid in there, you can turn the heat up a little. And that'll just speed up our sauce.
Little Helen said, was tomato shot word?
I don't know.
Simon said it smells gorgeous.
Oh, it will do. You're going to have all that chorizo and that garlic and the flavours of it. Oh, going back to your lemon possets, it was Amy, wasn't it?
Amy Joyce.
Right, there you go. There's my lemon posset now. That's what was left in the pan. Look, there you go. One lump. So hopefully yours is starting to do that now. So if it is, you can get that in the pan, or get that not in the pan, in your bowls, with your custard, with your biscuits. Shots are taking toll now.
Mary said, when does she add the bananas? Mary O'Toole.
Have you not added the bananas yet, Mary? Right, so now you can see my tomatoes are starting to break down a little. We're about 2 minutes away from that.
Mary Foster said, can I add water instead of wine?
Yeah, pop a little bit of water in. You only want about a shot. We just want enough just to add a little bit of liquid to break it down. Because like I say, we're going for a coating rather than a sauce. And you'll see it, when we get around, when you get to eating it, you'll understand exactly what I'm on about. We're packing masses of flavour in this here, rather than a spread out soupy sauce. But this little bit here, just cooking it all out like this, just helps. If you want a bit of salt in, you can pop a bit of salt. I don't want too much because usually the chorizo is pretty seasoned. But again, you can taste all this and adjust the tastes. Right, I can see my tomatoes are softening up now. They're starting to break down a little.
Geraldine said, how much wine?
About a shot. That's all you need. Just a little bit. Just gives it a nicer flavour. You can see all breaking down there. Right, now this is the point we want to pop your tomato sauce. Tomato puree. I've got a tube here. I suppose I'm looking at about a quarter of a tube. Good little, good squeeze there. Now you should start ending up with this thick, like that. Right, so to bring that back slightly, I'm probably going to add another glug of wine, or a little bit, or if you don't want to put wine in, put another glug of water. Again, about a shot, not a lot. I think I'll have wine and water. And you're trying to create a minimal sort of sauce. Right. Hopefully you've all got some nice fresh herbs. I got some basil, and did I tell everybody about the trick we do? I'll show you. Wait there. So for the basil, I'd already brought packets I had previously. This is frozen down. You can buy the bunches, so if anybody's bought bunches of herbs today, chop them up, put them in a little tub like that, label them up, put them in your freezer. Then you've always got fresh herbs. Right, when you put the tomato puree in, you want to turn the heat down to really as low as you can get it. You don't want that burning now, just want that cooking out. Right, so I'm going to pop some herbs in here now. However many herbs that you like, it's entirely up to you. If you like herby, put extra in.
Also, you said I added my sliced chorizo. Should I ask? When should I add sliced chorizo? Right at the end?
Yeah. Once we finish this stage, everybody that's got sliced chorizo, just chuck it into the sauce. Once you turn the heat off, basically what you don't want to do is cook it because it's very, very thin. It will burn. That's what we don't want. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not bad using sliced chorizo. It's just that it burns a lot quicker than the other stuff because I've diced mine out, I got quite chunky. Right, so I popped my herbs in there. And I've got this like nice sort of thick looking, it's not sauce at all really, is it? It's a very stodgy, I don't even know what you'd call it.
Mark said our jalapenos and herb, I like them.
I love jalapenos. You can call them however you want. There you go. Right, so that's what I've got there. Now into that, I'm going to turn my heat off now. Heat's off, and I'm going to chuck a knob of butter into that. About so much. Like that. Just going to pop that in there. I'm just going to let that melt into the sauce. What this does is add flavour. If you're doing any kind of sauces at home, if you're doing a fancy steak Diane, steak chasseur, creamy sauces with, what is it, beef stroganoff kind of dishes, you pop butter in it, shake the butter into it, it just adds this like super gloss to it and it makes the consistency of your sauce really good. I mean, as a chef years and years ago, we were doing this all the time, every sauce we had. I know butter is not like the best for you, but it tastes bloody good, doesn't it? And if you're going to go to all this effort to cook something, you just want to do it right. So I'm literally just turning the butter into it. And don't worry about it not going down straight away. You can just cover it with the... I'm just going to cover it and leave it in there. Right, that is our sauce done. Just going to take it off the heat. Off the heat, over to there. Now this is the stage where everybody would be adding their chopped chorizo, chopped salami. If you've got that, chop it up, chuck it into that and just leave it. Let's just make sure I actually remember to put everything in. Yes, I remembered everything. Right, now's a good point just to grab a teaspoon, have a little taste. Because now you can sort of correct your seasoning. Plus I'm going to stir that bit of butter in. Bear in mind this is proper intense because you're going to have the gnocchi with this, yeah, and cheese on top. So you want it to pack a punch. That is intense tomato flavours. I need a touch more salt. Bit of pepper for good measure.
What's in the pan after tomatoes and wine?
Right, so tomatoes and wine. So you should have had it. I'll go from the beginning because that way I won't forget nothing. Let me just show everybody this. This is my finished article sauce. As you can see, it's not very liquidy. It's more like a mince mix. Hence why I said it should be super punchy flavour, and that's what's going to coat our dish, our gnocchi. Right, so Paul, sauté the onions off with garlic. Then you chucked in your chorizo, but you had sliced, so you're doing that at this point now. Then we popped in our tomatoes. Then we put in tomato puree. We added a bit more wine, water, just to get it to our right consistencies. Some people might have to add less, some people might have to add more, just depends. I can't see what you're doing. The basil went in there, salt and pepper. Right at the end we chucked a knob of butter in just to stir it in and give it this like nice thick glossy kind of looking sauce. And hopefully that's what everybody's got, like a thick, it almost looks like spaghetti bolognese if I'm honest. That's what you should be looking at.
Simon Hargate said tastes amazing. Luby Lou said wow, that sauce.
Yeah, and now when you have it, you get the cheese on it, it is mental. If anybody can hear the music, this is my next radio show I'm playing. Right, okay then, so hopefully everybody's up to that point. If they are, we're going to crack on with the garlic bread now. And this garlic bread is with a difference.
Did you put your oven on?
Yeah, what's the time? We're down to that.
7:30. 7:30.
It's 7:30, is it? God, I thought this would be done in about an hour and a quarter. It's amazing. Once I get talking here and drinking, it just takes forever. Right, so flip your ovens on to about 190, 180, 190. Basically, we're just going to pop our garlic bread in for 10 minutes at the end. That's all we need it for. So don't panic too much about it. Right, so hopefully everybody's got their sauce done. Why don't you all go and have a check of your possets?
Do we grate the Parmesan?
Don't worry about Parmesan. Parmesan's later. That's for serving up. Right, so my posset is banging. That's in there cooling down. I have my gnocchi mix in there ready. I'm going to go and take out in a second. I have a wonderful, beautiful sauce there. Right, so unless anybody says any different, I'm going to crack on with the garlic bread now. Right, so you should have had, I mean, I like tiger bread. And we couldn't get round, so I had to get that shape. But basically what you want is the depth of it. That's what we're looking for. So if you've got little round ones, you can have brown bread, you can have white bread, anything. But you just want an uncut one like that. And we're going to do something slightly different with it. Right, so first off, we need to take 200 grams of butter. You need to pop that into the microwave. And we don't want this melted, we want it soft, like imagine you can spread it over your toast. That's what we're looking for. That consistency, right? I mean, if you do go too far, don't panic too much. And what I would do is just dice it up a little so that it cooks in the same sort of time frame.
Annie's posset is still liquid.
Annie's posset is still liquid?
Yeah.
Right, what's that? Annie, what are you putting it in? Are you putting it in bowls? If you're putting it in like individual bowls, I would still go with it. It's probably still just too hot. I mean, mine's, I'll show you mine, I'll get it out. See, because mine was quite runny, wasn't it? Look. Do I risk tipping it upside down?
No.
Yeah, look, see? So that's my posset.
She's got it in a flan dish.
Right,
So she's got a whole mix there, hasn't she?
so get it in the flan dish, get it in the fridge. They can take up to 4 hours to set. Obviously, the thicker it is, the longer it's going to take. I mean, mine was reasonably thin in there because I got like thin little dishes. But look, and you saw how runny mine was when I put it in. So get it in your dishes, get it in the fridge.
She's got one flan dish, I think.
Yeah, pop it into one flan dish then and get it in the fridge. Right. So we want to take our 200 grams of butter. Where are you? 200 grams of butter. Get that softened down. The easiest way to do it is the microwave. And we're looking for. Imagine you want to spread it on your toast. That's what we want. Everybody's giving me thumbs up.
No,
That's-
Annie did.
Annie did. You'll be alright, Annie, trust me. You'll be alright. When I'm doing butter, I do, if I want it sort of soft, do it in.
Lou said freeze it, Annie.
No, don't need to freeze it. It will set up. So, again, I had that 15 seconds and I just got that moving around a little. I just got a bit of a lump there, so don't need much longer. Another 10 seconds. Basically, we're going to make a garlic butter. That's what we're doing. Pop a bit of olive oil in it in a second. I won't. No, don't tell you that now. And what's the shop word?
Potato, tomato and lemon, but I reckon you had too much.
Right, too much, right?
Simon said great tunes in the background, by the way.
Or you can hear the tunes.
Yeah.
Good, you're going to like Tuesday's show then. Right, as you can see, I've got like that now. Okay? Right, so into that I'm going to add my garlic. Again, this is 1, 2, 3 cloves. How garlicky do you like your garlic bread? I like mine garlicky, so we're having all of that in there. Stir that in. I'm going to add in some olive oil. If I can find it. Where's my olive oil?
I've got a new thing today.
New one. Okay. I thought we had some.
No, I used it the other day.
Oh,
I
you
made
used
the
it,
salad
okay.
dinner last night.
Yeah. So I've got some olive oil. You just want a glug in there. That's if I can get it open. It won't open. Oh,
You said lemon too much. Let's change it to garlic from now on. Paul Damon's going to listen to your show next week. What
Good.
time is it, Gary?
8 o'clock Tuesday. Oh, I can't get this off. Oh. Pass it over to the expert, you do it. So you want a glug of olive oil into your butter with the garlic. The sills that are twisted.
Yeah.
You need a knife around the sill. I chuck a little bit of salt and pepper in because I love my salt and pepper.
Jess is going out to see the full moon. Turn her water into.
Right, just go carefully, don't knock anything. Right, so garlic, butter, olive oil, salt and pepper, and then some herbs. So if you've got some basil left, or parsley, or thyme, any herb you want, just chuck a nice handful of herbs in there.
In the bottle thing, there's the olive oil. There's a little bit left in there. In the bottle.
I'm going with my frozen chives. See, this is what they look like, that. They're just frozen down like that. Brilliant. So if you've got any herbs left, if you've got a whole bunch today, chop them up, put them in the freezer. And you've always got herbs to cook with. And it's so much better. Right, so I'm just going to chuck some chives in there. Mix that around. And then I've got like a nice thick batter. Okay, that's what you should all have. Right, so if you'll catch up when we get to that stage. You've got the olive oil?
Right. Literally just twist, twist, twist.
And proper trouble with the olive oil. This is where I cut my finger off live on stage, isn't it? Oh, come on. Right, okay, so we're missing olive oil because I'm pissed off with doing that now, so I'm not doing that. I've got some, I don't know, which one have I got? I've got some homemade garlic oil there. I'm just going to pop a bit of that in. It's rapeseed, but it's not olive. And what this does is it stops the butter burning. This is the whole point of this. So you just want, like that. It's about a tablespoon, something like that. Butter has a high burning content, so when you put it in the oven, it burns quicker. By putting that olive oil in there, we're just going to stop the butter from burning too quick. Just helps out, and it also emulsifies that a bit better. Now that we've got a nice, really spread. So that's what you should be looking at. Has everybody got that? Right. Now you want to get your round bread. If you've got round bread. If you're like me and you only have to have a long one like that, I'll show you what to do with it. 2 seconds. Right, for those who are feeding, we're about 15 minutes away from eating. Okay? Right, so I'm not going to cook all this because it's too much for us, so I'm going to cut it in half. It works better if you have the whole thing, but needs must. I can't eat all that. Right, what you want to do, we want to cut diagonal, like that, about 4 cuts. Turn it and then cut 4 cuts diagonal there, but don't go through the bottom. You want to cut down to about there. Okay? So if everybody can see, if I move you closer, you can see exactly what I'm doing. Make sure that's not hot. Right, so I'm going to go one down there, two down there, 3, 4. You kind of want the 4 because we want to open that up because that's where we're going to put all the garlic. Okay, now we're going to turn it that way and do the same again. So you're ending up with like little squares. I tell you, this is so much better than normal garlic bread. Just remember not to cut through. You want to cut about 75% of the way down. Okay, so now if I show you, you can see we've got like little pull-outs. So when this cooks, you can just pull the bread apart. It's great for sharing. Okay, so has everybody got that? So you can see almost like a hedgehog, I suppose. Right, so grab a bit of tin foil. I'm going to grab a bit of tin foil now. Yeah, a reasonable sort of biggish bit. Right, going to pop that down, and what we're trying to do now is cover the sides. We don't want to cover the top because we're going to put cheese and garlic on that. Right, so now take your garlic mix and literally just chuck it on there. Okay, so now, and I mean you could use your hands, it gets messy. If you want to push that down in all the crevices, all the little cracks, open them up, get the garlic butter down there, like that. Just take a spoon and then you can push it all down. And it will find its way anyway, but the more we get in there, and if you find that you don't need all the garlic butter we made up, because I've obviously done half a loaf, you can put it in the fridge, wrap it in some cling film, and it'll go back into butter. And then you've got garlic butter for steaks or chickens or veg or whatever. So you don't need to waste it if you don't want it all now. So I'm literally just pushing all this down in there. And because I like garlic, I'm going to put extra on. And as I've cut the sides, if people are cutting the sides, I'm going to put garlic on the open bit as well, just to help it. And you're basically spreading it. We're basically spreading it all over. Like so. If you had a whole one, it'd be a lot easier. But cut mine in half. Right. Okay. Now onto that. Optional. I love cheese on it, so I'm going to pop some grated cheese on the top of that. That's probably delayed, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
I'd like to say we're on about a 30-second delay. So as I'm doing stuff, she's not seeing it till about 30 seconds later. Normally it's about a 5-second delay. But this week, I don't know, for whatever reason.
Ask if Abby's cooking, like Abby Harvey, because she keeps doing everything out, and I'm sure she is. I don't know.
Right, so grated cheese on top of your... You don't have to have this, optional. Right, there you go. So I've got cheesy garlic bread. Now what you want to do with the tin foil is make like a cup. You don't want that oil coming out, the butter coming out, but we also want the top to brown. So you can see I've sealed it all up, and that goes in the oven for 10 minutes. Not yet. Once we get our stuff together, everybody catches that, I'll tell you when to put it in. So just leave it on the side for the moment. You should all have your ovens on, and that is the world's best garlic bread. It takes about 10 minutes to make. You pop it in the oven, take it out, and then you just tear and share it out, and it goes perfect with this. Right.
Amazing tricks with the olive oil.
Yeah, it just stops things burning. See, butter has the highest content going. As in, like when you go French cooking, you have burn noisette. Yeah, I'm remembering back to my college days now. Burn noisette is basically burnt butter. So a lot of steaks and fish in particular, has like burnt butter on it. It sounds horrible, but burnt butter, if it's done right, can be quite nice. But if you put olive oil in it, so if you want to cook with a bit of butter, chuck a bit of oil in, and it actually extends the heat in, and you can cook a bit more with it. Right, so hopefully everybody's all up to date. We should all have our garlic bread done. You should all have your ovens on. We should all have our sauce done. Our possets are about 2 seconds to make up. Next is our clear down a little spot for gnocchi. I'm going to give everybody 2 minutes to get a bit of a table clear and just to catch up with everything else, okay? Any questions? Fire them over. We're still here. Where's my garlic butter? See, I've still got all that garlic butter left, but I'm going to scoop that into a bit of cling film and just pop that in the fridge, and then I'm just going to use it on other stuff. Never, ever, ever need to waste anything. Everything is usable.
Can I just give you a newsflash?
Newsflash. Annie,
her posset is thicker.
told ya. And then you just might take a bit longer for it to set up, but if you can give it another hour after we finish. I mean, mine's ready to go, but the deeper ones probably won't be because they were that high, whereas the little plastic ones are only that high, so obviously, you know, it just cools down quicker. Right, so get yourselves a clear little space. Get yourselves a bit of dusting flour. And then go and grab your gnocchi mix. Right, so get yourself a little bit of flour on your table. You take it out now, it just saves messy hands. My sauce there, right, I need a pan. Can't believe how many dishes.
How long does elongated bread go in for?
Bread doesn't go in yet, it takes about 10 minutes. We're just going to get our gnocchi made up. Once we're there with that, you can pop your bread in. I'll tell everybody when to pop the bread in.
Annie's going to have dessert tomorrow.
That'd be perfect, Annie. It'll be definitely set up by then. Right, so if you all take a pan of water, you want a biggish pan because you're going to put a gnocchi in it, and we want it to all go around, if that makes sense. You want a bit like when you cook a poached egg, you need space for it to go. Don't have a little pan and pile it all in there because you just end up with one gnocchi. So, and then I'm going to pop that on, get that warming up. 2 forks, grab yourself 2 forks.
What's there?
Now you don't have to do this. There's various different ways of doing it. We're just winging it. Right, just going to pop you there so you can see my gnocchi. Right, so I now have a pan of water going. I didn't put any salt in. Need a little bit of salt in it. So salt's in the pan, that's going. Garlic bread, pop in your oven now. So you've got it open so the cheese can brown. You want it on about 190, 180. If your oven's really, if it's one of them super hot ones, just do it on a lower temperature. Basically, you just want to warm it through.
Okay, Simon said, what's the pan? Please,
right, so Pan, fill with water. You want plenty of space in there to put the gnocchi, because we don't want to cook it all in one lump, because it'll come out in one lump. You need to give it plenty of air. So the biggest pan you got in the house, fill it half with water, a bit of salt, get it on to boil. I've popped my garlic bread in the oven, because that's going to take about 10 minutes. If we take a little bit longer because we're going back and forth, not a problem. You can just turn your oven off and close that tin foil on the top of it, and that'll just keep it nice and warm until you want to go. So that's not an issue. Right, so everybody should be up to this point now. Now you should have some dusting flour out, like I got there. I need a thing on here, 'cause that's... Right, so I've got some dusting flour out there, just for my hands. I have my, put some flour on my hands just to help. And I'm going to take a bit of my potato mix. Okay. And you're going to pop it in the flour, and we're just going to roll this out. What I would say, if you get sticky hands, just wash them in between or keep them dusted in that. And you're also going to need another side plate just to pop the gnocchi on. As you can see, I've rolled that out into a pretty long piece. And I'm just going to cut it in half, like there. Pop that out there. Could you grab me another plate, love? I didn't grab one out. So you want to cut them into little pillows of about 1/2 inch. I'll show you there. Can we see them? And you're just going to pop them on your plate. That's if you want them like that. You can do various different things now. Now you've got that, you can just cook them like that. That's not a problem. A lot of authentic Italians do them like that. So cut your sheet up. What you can do is pop them on there. If you need flour, dip your hands in flour. And then you can push them into a spoon. Do you see that? So you then, oh, where are we? So you've got little shapes like that. So you can, and then pop them on your plate. So what I've done there is I've took that, get your thumb, and then just push down with your thumb, and then you're picking up the ridges. Where are we? Can't see. There you go. So you're picking up the ridges of the potato. Does that make sense? Everybody see that? You can, if you don't want to mess around like this, you can just leave them like that. I've seen people do curl them with their thumb, so they get little curls like that. So basically just take a floured thumb, stick your thumb into it, and then just turn it over. Press down, and then I've got like little curls like that. It is entirely up to you. What was the other one, love? We did the press down with the... There's another one the opposite way, isn't there? Was it with two? You were good at this.
I rolled them with two. That's where I done mine.
Yeah, so you can do 2 forks like that, and then just turn them over like that. You see them? So it's entirely what you want to do. If you just want to leave them plain, don't want to mess around doing this, it's not an issue. What time do we put our garlic bread in? It's been in 2 minutes, love. I didn't time it. There you go.
Okay, you put it in at 10 to.
So I've got little ones like that. So basically, make how many you want. You probably want, I mean, I've got loads of different ones there. You're probably going to want around 15 a portion. So if we all just get on and make them, stick them on the side of the plate. Is that too high, is it?
That's fine.
Okay, so anybody got any issues with that, ask me. If not, I'm literally just going to go ahead and make mine. So you just take a wodge, roll it out thin. It's about chipolata size, that's what you're looking at. If your fork starts sticking, just dip it in a bit of flour. See, in the meantime, we should have our water should be boiling away over there. And then what we're going to do in a minute is you pop these in the water and they take about a minute to cook. Literally, you put them in and they'll float to the top. And then you're going to take them out and then add them to the sauce, which we will have slightly warming up in about once we get our gnocchis ready. I know there's Italians out there are probably going to go, oh, you don't do it like this and that, but you know, it's all a bit of fun. I mean, you can just go with the pillows. You don't have to mess around with that. So I've made like one sort of batch up there. So now I'm going to take another bit of potato mix there. I'm going to dust my table down with a bit of flour, roll it in that. And I'm just going to make me... And you just keep going till you've got as many as you want. Chipolata size. If you're running out of space, don't be afraid just to cut it in half, just helps. These ones I think I'm just going to go with little pillows. Pillows with them ones. And if you go online, there's various other different sort of shapes you can make once you've got this mix. If you want to experiment and do more fancier things.
Can you freeze the remainder?
Right, this is not a sore point. This is a point I don't know because, as you can see, I made double the batch. What I do know is if you make them up if you make them up like that, put them in the fridge for the next day, they actually started to go brown. So I would imagine you probably could make them up and then freeze them down and then just take them out and cook them. I don't hold me to that, I'm not 100% sure.
And Mark's saying cook them and then freeze them because you buy cooked pasta, don't you? Did Helen do it? 'Cause
Helen, did you do it?
Because I think she probably had hers the next day, but we didn't, did we? In the Monday.
Nah, they went brown.
They'd been alright on the Sunday, but on the Monday they were brown, weren't they? I wonder if you should cook them.
Possibly.
And that'll stop them from going brown. And they'll do a couple of days and probably try.
See, them ones are making like little shells, just showing you different things. I mean, if you go online, you'll see all these Italians doing it. They do it like that, and they make about 300 in about 2 seconds. It's amazing what they can do.
How's Archie getting on?
How's Archie getting on? But like I say, if you're struggling, just press down a bit and just do little curls. You know, the taste will still be there.
Helen said, no, I didn't try freezing. You can freeze mashed potato.
So if you can freeze mashed potato down, then I would say if anybody's got mixes left that you're not going to use tonight, pop them in the freezer. Maybe make them up. I'm just going to lay them across there. Is Jess eating tonight, love?
She's starving.
Right, okay. My daughter's starving. Right, so I'm going to make some extra up. Right, check your garlic bread. How does it look? Right, my garlic bread, because I had a smaller bit, is done. All the cheese is melted. I can see it, I can smell it, and it looks awesome. So I've just turned the oven off, and I'm just going to leave it in there now. So if you feel like you need to do that, not a problem, do that.
Annie has just said, pasta grannies on Instagram is amazing. perhaps see what they say then.
Yeah, I mean, obviously thinking about it, now Helen's said it, mashed potato does freeze down. So I would imagine you could probably freeze it. I would freeze it in this state and then literally cook it from frozen.
Right, Helen said, I think you'd probably make them into parcels, freeze them, and pop straight from freezer into boiling water.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Right, so I'm nearly there. How's everybody else getting on?
James Davis says smells so good. Mark Warrington says garlicky.
Yeah, it's going to be garlicky. Right, so we're about 5 minutes away from eating, guys. Obviously, it depends how much gnocchi you're cooking, but some of you are going to disappear once we start cooking the gnocchi. Right, I've got enough made for us.
So the posset's all done then, is it?
Yeah, posset's going to take 2 seconds. Right, just give my hands a quick wash now because I've got potato hands.
Shot.
We're still on shots.
No, we gave up on lemon, I think.
Gave up shots on lemon. I mean, to be fair, I give up on shots. I'm drinking glasses. Oh no, I can see that here now.
Yeah, you put wine in the shot
I have
glass.
wine in shot glasses. Right, so hopefully everybody's got however many you want of the dumplings. That's the mix I got left. I am going to pop that in the freezer and I'm going to see how it goes. I have a big pan of salted boiling water going. You can see that's just coming to the boil now. So, and I have my garlic bread down in there, as you can see there. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to put my sauce or my my stodgy mix on a very, very low heat. We just want to get a little bit of warmth into that now. Right, so I've got that next to my pan that's got my gnocchi in. Right, so that's starting to come to the boil. What you do now is you take the gnocchi, you could have a little metal spoon, pop them on there and gently drop them into the boiling water. They'll sink a little bit. When they come to the top, they're done. So then you want to take a holy spoon out and then drain them off and then pop them straight into your warming up sauce. So hopefully everybody's at this point now. You'll probably take about 2 or 3 goes to cook all your donuts. Don't panic because they take about a minute. Donuts, not donuts, gnocchis. That's because I've been making donuts this week at work. I was trying donuts at work. So look at them, I've got lovely little, can we see them? They look like sugar puffs. Basically, once they float to the top, they're kind of there. They don't take long at all. Yeah, mine have flown to the top quite quick, a lot quicker than I thought. Give them 30 seconds. They float to the top, give them 30 seconds boiling. My water is not actually boiling. It's because I've got this like bloody great big pan. And then once you drain them off, try to get as least amount of water in there as possible. Do we own a holy spoon? I don't think we do we? It's a word, isn't it?
Mark does, but his only comes out on a Sunday.
Ha! Good one.
You've got that holy, that's got a big lob in the middle and that one is like a spaghetti boil.
Remember your garlic bread. Don't go and burn that. And don't go and burn your sauce. Remember, just keep that on a low heat because there's not a lot of liquid in that sauce. Right.
8 o'clock.
Yep, we'll be eating in 2 minutes. Right, so we have one super duper posset. So you've got your biscuit base, you got that. I should have set up by now. Yeah, mine's nearly there. And then I've got my cold sauce. So you just literally see that if you look at that, that's thickened up into like a nice thick. Did you see it? Nice thick sauce there, and then you just put that on top. Just like that. That is the world's easiest, best tasting pudding. So do that with the rest of yours, whichever ones you've got. But you can do that whilst everybody's eating their thing. You don't have to do that now. You can leave that. That's not a problem because that's a 2-second job now. Right, now I'm looking at my, if you look at my dumplings, can you see them all come to the top? There we go. So they're puffed up a little bit. They've come to the top. Now I'm going to strain these off as best I can. And I'm just going to chuck them straight into my sauce. And then once I get all these out, I'll pop another load of dumplings in. It'd be damn sight easier if I had a holy spoon. I'll tell you what, this should be, if anybody tries this again, without me waffling on and answering all these questions, it is so quick. Make that potato gnocchi mix up in a day, make your sauce up in a day, you've got a meal in, what, 5 minutes? If you want to chuck your garlic bread in there, you've got a meal in 10 minutes. You can make all this
You could do double sauce and that would keep 5 days.
Yeah.
And you can just add mince to it.
I mean, this sauce here goes great with just normal pasta. So if you wanted to pop just normal pasta in it.
That's what Helen's doing, isn't it? She's doing that bit.
So you don't have to have gnocchi, but if you keep it this like high intensity sauce, it's just so much better. Right, so I've got my first lot of dumplings out in there. Now just be careful, don't go stirring it, don't go breaking them up, just shake it. We don't want to break these dumplings up. You start going like this, you'll end up more mashed up. Now I'm going to get the rest of my dumplings in. It's a bit time consuming doing this because you've got to kind of put them in one at a time. Because I've got a big pan, I can get all ours in 2 goes. Some of you might have to do 3 goes. Doesn't matter, you just need to make sure you don't burn this sauce here. Right, garlic bread, don't forget that. That might need turning off now. Can someone get me, what was that? Yeah, 3 bowls so we can eat. Like I say, you can make these up in the afternoon, pop them in the fridge, all ready to go. And all you've got to do is boil a pan of water. It's all about the preparation. Obviously, what I'm showing you here, I'm showing you how to make it from start to scratch, start to finish. It's a little bit harder to show you the quick versions of it. But I guarantee the next time you do it, way quicker.
Lemon posset back in. If you want to get the other 2 out, you can add the fruit to it if you want. I'm sure.
Let's get the last of me gnocchis in. Right. Let's get a lid on that, get that coming back to the boil. There you go. Just shake away there. Right, so I've got a lot of heat in that, and my gnocchi is going to be a minute, and they're going to be hot coming out, so I'm going to turn my heat off now. I don't need any more heat in that. Take the garlic bread out. I guarantee if everybody takes their garlic bread out now, you're getting that waft of like banging flavours. Right, so we're nearly there. I'm about a minute away from doing that, and then we can go and eat.
Okay, Martin says, dish your nose out, smells glorious, thank you.
Yeah.
Martin Hunt.
Don't forget your Parmesan on top. Little scrape into the bowl, a little bit of Parmesan on top, a little bit more cheese on the top of that. And then everybody don't forget to pop your fruity sauce on top of your possets. Your posset.
If you're in Dorset, that's it.
I'll give you a picture of mine in a second so we can all see
Oh,
what we
send
got.
pictures as
We're
well.
nearly, oh yeah, don't forget, send pictures in. It's always
And let
good
me
to
know
pop
if you've
them up.
cooked. I've got a list, but I
Yeah.
think I've missed some out.
Please send pictures in, tag Premier Pastries in there, and then everybody can see what we've been up to. And then pass it on to friends. Like I say, definitely do this again, because you'll eat it, and the next time you do it, it'll be way, way quicker, because you don't have to look at my
That's
whatever doing it. And you don't need to waste anything. Garlic butter in the fridge. That's tomorrow's. We're gonna have something with that tomorrow. Right, how's my gnocchi going? Right, gnocchi's up to the top again. That's how quick it takes. I put that in, it's done. So I'm going to turn my hot pan off for my gnocchi.
my mum.
I mean, if I had a holy spoon, I'd be a damn sight quicker at this, but I haven't got one, so it works, so I'm doing it with that. I'm trying not to drag too much stuff in. Is everybody still here? Was everybody eating and gone? I'm the last one.
Simon Hargett results. Thank you ever so much. Great way to spend Saturday evening. Helen Grossman, garlic butter you can freeze in pats as well.
Yeah, but they keep forever in the fridge. Right, I'm going to give you a quick one. I'm just going to stir that in, turn that over with a spoon, and feed my daughter. Where's my cheese grater? You put it in there, yeah?
Yeah. There's one underneath.
That's crap. Get that there to do it.
Mark Wilmington, we're still here, just about to do the last batch.
There you go. So look at
Well
that.
done, Archie.
So you got gnocchi, we've got our garlic bread, and then we had the pudding we showed you earlier. Go and eat that, you'll thoroughly enjoy it. I'm just going to do the last of my gnocchi. I'm going to let you all go. Tear and share the garlic bread. Enjoy everybody.
Can you
Post
say
your
hello to your
pictures.
dad? Because he's been watching all the way
Oh, your
through.
dad? You should be doing this, Dad. You'd
He
enjoy
is.
this.
He's been coming in on and off. I'm
There you
sure
go.
he's doing it. James Davis, we're still with you. Looks great. Looking forward to this.
Right, I'm going to give it 2 more minutes and then I'm going to hang up. So everybody's seen the finished article. If you wanted to chuck some fresh herbs on that right at the end, that's not a problem.
Cheers, guys. I'm scooting. Catch you later. That's Mark James. Bye, Mark.
Bye, Mark. James, Mark, James.
Annie Jones. I hope your
Yeah,
posset
Annie,
turns out
your
tomorrow.
posset would be good. Send me a picture of it tomorrow. You'll be like, I can't believe this turned out. Trust me.
Geraldine's did.
Yeah,
The one
I'm
with
surprised with that one, Geraldine. I thought you'd
well done.
jump in the gun with that. I thought that wasn't going to work.
Just chuck it all in next time.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thanks for a wonderful evening.
Right, there you go. I'm really hungry. I need to go and eat this now.
I'm happy for tearing the garlic bread.
How good's the garlic bread?
As for sharing, they'll have to fight me for it.
Everybody would do garlic bread like this in the future. It's just so much better than buying that shop bought rubbish in. Just buy yourself whatever fancy loaf you fancy, sourdoughs, whatever it is. Crisscross it, pack it up, bung it in the oven 10 minutes. It's minter.
Minty said, great night, pies, love, Oya, both.
Okay. Right, I'm going to sign off now, guys. Cheers, everybody. There's
Ruby Lou, this looks fab.
There's some humongously messy kitchen. We'll clean all that up. There's the wife.
Everyone.
There's Hal. Say goodbye, girls. See you later. Enjoy yourselves. Post your pictures. Bye bye.